In a democracy, citizens need to be informed. Informed about policies, issues, homelessness, law enforcement, and social services. In order for people to make good decisions that affect their lives, they need to be informed. Conversations with Erroll Parker. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Erroll Parker. The COVID-19 virus has been a worldwide virus that has affected not only this country, but other countries. Our health, our economy has been really affected by the COVID-19 virus. Many people have died, people are being hospitalized, and in short, it has been one of the most unprecedented viruses and social upheavals and economic upheavals that we've ever experienced in this country. Today on our program, we are going to focus on how this virus has affected some local young people who are the associated student presidents of 4 high schools here in Long Beach. They have been elected by their peers to provide leadership at their high schools, and they have been affected on their campus as well as them personally and their families by the COVID-19 virus. Now, we're also going to talk about the rallies, the protest rallies that have been going on, and not only in our city, but around the world and in this country. So our young people who will be inheriting the responsibility and leadership of this world have some things to say about it. And today on our program, we have 4 young people who represent their schools. Right now, we have Cassandra Keeve, who is the Poly High School Associated Student Body President. Hello, Cassandra.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
And did I mispronounce your name? How is your last name pronounced?
My last name is pronounced Keeve.
Keeve, okay, I got it.
Yeah, you did right.
Okay. And then we have Keyshawn Ford, who is the Associated Student Body President at Jordan High School. How are you doing, Keyshawn?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. And then we have Ayana Torres, who is the Associated Student Body President at Cabrillo High School. Ayana, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay. And then we also have Naomi Ortiz, who is the Associated Student Body President at Lakewood High School. How are you doing, Naomi?
I'm good.
Good. Now, let's start the questioning. I really thank you both, all you guys, for coming on the show to express yourself. That this virus has really affected everyone in this world, and in Long Beach in particular as well. But there's been some adjustments, educational and social adjustments that you guys have had to make, and that's what we want to talk about today. So I want to start with Cassandra, and then everybody else can chime in. Cassandra, what has been the biggest personal adjustment that you've had to make in regard to this COVID-19 virus?
I think for me personally, it was hard getting used to stay at home for a long period of time and just having nothing to do. I'm so accustomed to this schedule, just go to school, after school activities, whether it's executing an event for our student body or just helping committees plan for future events. It just felt so different to just come home and have a time to rest when I feel like I should be doing something productive right now.
Ayana, why don't you pick up where Keyshawn, what has been the biggest personal adjustment that you've had to make?
Well, for me, I'm a very social person. I walk around school with my friends sometimes, and I'm always talking to people. And I play soccer, and I was practicing 3 times a week. So it was I was always around so many people, and because of COVID, I was put into a position where I couldn't talk to my friends and my team face to face, and it kind of hurt because I'm not sure when I would be able to see them again. And it's just it's been a little tough adjusting, but I'm kind of getting used to it now.
Okay, so Naomi, I know going to Lakewood High School and being Associated Student Body President for the whole year, you were looking forward to some things socially as well as your future educational plans. But how has this virus personally affected you as far as your education is concerned?
It's just been hard because you go to school and you're with the schedule, the bells ring, the teachers are telling you, go to your next class, turn in the homework. So personally, it's just been hard to take myself out of the school structure and go home and have to, motivate myself to wake up at a decent time and go to sleep at a decent time. And it's just it's hard to adjust from a structured school schedule to at home with your family.
Now, Keyshawn, before you were just about to talk about the personal adjustments that you've had to make, online learning, not being on campus. Tell us a little bit about how this is COVID-19 has affected you.
So yes, like I was saying before, the lack of social interaction with friends and teachers, and being in ASB, you get to meet a lot of different people and staff and help out. So you're always around people and you're always busy. And now that I'm at home, it's like, okay, I'm not doing anything. And it's like the first 2 days, it was like, okay, it's a little break. But after a while, it's like, okay, I want to be doing something, other than homework. I want to talk to people, other than the people that are in my home. And FaceTime and Zoom is not the same how it is, when you get to interact with people in person. So
now, you guys feel free to jump in. I'm going to be asking some of these questions, but feel free to jump in now. Now, Naomi, let's talk about your future plans that you guys have that has been affected by this COVID-19 virus. Naomi, you're slated to go to the University of California at Irvine and study in biological science, maybe wanting to be a surgeon. Has your future plans been affected by this COVID-19 virus? And everybody else, after she finishes, everybody else just jump in talking about your future plans.
Well, yes and no, because I still am going to attend my number one choice of school for college, but a lot is up in the air, like in terms of fall semester. I don't know if I'm going to be dorming at Irvine. I don't know if I'm going to be staying home. I don't know if fall semester is going to be online. It's hard to plan for my future when I don't really know anything. And everything is so, day by day, the news changes. So I just feel like it's definitely taken a toll on my future plans, but I'm just trying to move forward with things and hopefully everything will work out.
Cassandra, why don't you step in and tell us about how this has affected your future plans?
So I've been kind of bummed out, and like I'm attending Cal State Long Beach this fall, and like they recently announced that this fall semester will be online. So I'm looking towards like major in biochemistry, and like, I'm really worried about like how my classes are gonna be like, especially with like chemistry and like with like math and sciences. Like we do like activities and labs, so I don't know how that's gonna work out online, and I'm kind of scared about that. And also like I had I was looking forward to that college experience, like freshman year, like you're joining clubs and all of that, and I was looking forward to like being involved in my school again. And like right now, like I'm unsure. Like I wanted to join research, but I don't know how I can do that, or is that a possibility, or just like even joining clubs on campus.
Ayana, go right ahead.
Yeah, like I totally agree with Cassandra. Like the whole, like freshman, like transitioning into college, your freshman year. I was supposed to go dorm out there in San Francisco. And so like just, not being so sure of like what is gonna happen with my classes. I don't know how it's gonna look. I know it's gonna be online, but I don't know how it's just gonna work out. I know it's gonna be a lot different.
I can sense the anxiety that you guys are feeling. You're not knowing what the future holds. And you had your future plan. You're going to go to the prom. You're going to go to all these social activities, the picnic, and grad night, and all those type of things. Keyshawn, tell us, you had when the semester started, you envisioned doing these things. Now everything is really different. Tell us how you feel about that.
Yeah. It's really all just a bummer. And, going to school, I was registering for my classes the other day. And when I looked at the overview, everything said it was going to be online. And I had mentioned before that I'm a very hands-on person. So I don't know how that's going to work out for me. Like now the class is online. It's just, typing everything in or copying something to a document and doing it and submitting it. But if I have questions, I have to email my teachers and I have to wait versus being in class and I can wait till they're done or pull them aside and I can get help right then and there. So I don't, I'm excited for my future, but I'm also a little worried because I don't know how that's going to work out for me.
Well, let's get a little personal right now. There have been over 100,000 deaths in the United States from COVID-19. Has anyone in your family or your friends have contacted this virus or died from this virus? Let's start with you, Ayana. Is anyone that you know of contacted the virus?
No, honestly, I don't know anyone that has actually come into contact with the virus. Like a lot of my family just kind of like really just stay in quarantine. They didn't really go out like unless it was like super necessary. But yeah, no, I don't know anyone that has.
You guys step in. Anybody, Cassandra, Naomi, anyone, one of you young people know anyone that has the virus?
For me personally, excuse me, go ahead.
Go ahead, Cassandra.
For me personally, I don't know anyone that has virus. However, like my mom works at LAX airport, so I feel like she does have a high risk. And I'm worried for her health. And then one of my best friends who works at Baskin Robbins, apparently one of her coworkers' dad has virus, but that coworker has been going to work, so like her store had to like close down for a while, and like she had to get tested. And I was like really worried about her because I work at In-N-Out and like I know the risk, so I was like really worried for her health. But thankfully she tested negative. Like things are good right now.
Keyshawn?
So yes, I actually work at Amazon, and we have to go through these big thermal scanners every day when we come in. They check our temperature. And luckily I haven't gotten it, so I actually have skipped work the last 2 weeks because they send us text messages when someone does get it, and I'm not trying to risk it, so I haven't went. But my best friend's mom actually has it. They called me the other day. I believe she's a nurse, and so where she works, they hospitalized the people with the virus, and so she got it from being at work.
So at first, Naomi, maybe you figured that it was a hoax. Maybe this was going to affect you at all. What I need to know initially, what did you got when the virus first hit? What was your initial feelings? Did you feel like it was real, or whether it was a hoax, or what? Somebody, Cassandra, what do you say about that? And then Naomi, did you think it was real?
I feel like yes, it was real, and like I feel like I think me personally, I didn't know like how serious it was until like, it got more like people were infected, like the death rate got like higher, and like I just felt like it was just like so like abrupt, like wow, it just happened, and like a lot of things got canceled, and um um the pandemic itself is like very like conditional, like you never know like what happened, and like we had to like take like precautions at all costs.
Did anybody think it was not really real until certain people, the news that you were looking at and all that kind of thing made it real to you? Did anybody think it was not real at first?
I don't remember if it was elementary school or early middle school when we had Ebola going around.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, it's a virus, but we're fine. We're still going to be at school. And then as things got more serious and we were talking about it in classes, and I was like, oh, this is pretty serious. And the last day of school, I remember we were in the middle of an assignment in my government class, and the teacher's like, well, this is our last day. And, it really set in like, wow, we're going to be gone for a while. This is really serious.
When I was going to school, which was eons ago, Cassandra, I mean, probably there's no recorded history with the last time I went to school. But if we had a break, I was overjoyed. I said, oh man, I'm going to be out for 2 weeks. Or they suspended school because it was snowing or something. So I was really happy. Did anybody have that initial feeling? Naomi, did you have that initial feeling that, okay, this is going to be pretty cool? And then later on you felt differently. And then Cassandra.
I remember getting the notification during fourth period, which was my calculus class. And we had already been talking about it at school that week about like, oh, if school closes for 2 weeks, what does that mean for senior activities? And there were rumors that, if we took 2 weeks off, we would have to add 2 weeks into the summer and graduation and prom. So for me, I really wasn't excited about getting these 2 weeks break that was originally planned, because I didn't like the fact that my senior year was being cut short. So I didn't feel happy or overjoyed about the fact that we had a vacation.
Cassandra, were you feeling the same way that Naomi was feeling?
Yes, I totally agree with you, Naomi. Like I felt devastated, like oh my God, like our senior year has ended and we worked so hard up to this moment, and especially since second semester is full of celebratory events for us. And so actually when we heard the news, it was during an ASB meeting third period. And before we heard the news, we were discussing about, we already knew the pandemic was like real, like there was like the virus and all that. So we're talking about like how we can adjust our events such as intercultural fair, like what health precautions should we take, what health precautions we should take during our school-wide blood drive. And then as we were talking and like having a discussion, one of our fellow commissioners said like, check your email, the district came out like schools being closed. And then like it was like everyone was like screaming, everyone was like crying because they're like devastated about like how we worked so hard to plan these events just for them not to happen.
Ayana, I see you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I remember I was also in ASB class. Like everyone kind of just like all got the message like at the same time. And like we're all like looking at each other like, oh my gosh, like is this like for real? Like is this really happening? Like it was just like really crazy. Like everyone just kind of started screaming, like, oh my God, like just shocked. And it was crazy.
Okay. Is there anything positive that you can say that have come out of this? Okay, I mean, from a health perspective, from a social perspective, you'd be at home. You know, whenever there's a radical adjustment, a social adjustment, sometimes there is something positive. Kishan, is there anything positive that have come out of this?
I suppose the graduation. I mean, that's about it. You know, I'm very active at school and at church and with my friends, so all of that has been cut out. So I'm just at home, or if I, go to work, that's just about it. So graduation.
Positive though?
Yes, graduation. Graduation.
Graduation. Oh, okay.
Looking forward to.
Cassandra, anything positive coming? You've been confined in your home. You got to wear a mask, 6 feet social distancing. That's a drag. Anything positive come out of this?
I think for me, like just like getting more sleep and like getting like caught up on like all my work was good. Like having like a time to like rest, and also like usually like whenever like I'm not home very often because like, I come late from school, and so on, and my mom goes to work like at night. Right now, like I've been like able to like with my family more often, and like hang out with my siblings more than usual just because like they're also on break. So we get to interact more than usual, and just like taking like initiatives to like try to like solve our problems. Like I've been signing like petitions and so on. And my ASB cabinet and I made a petition for a district to postpone graduation, so like spreading that and finding out solutions to like help make up for our senior year that we wanted.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Ayana, is there anything positive come out of that? I mean, do you have family members? You get to see them all day?
Yeah.
You have little brothers or a big brother? Do they get on your nerve or what?
Yes, I have an older brother, and us too. I mean, he's we're really close, but sometimes just kind of like But I'm like such a busy person, like just going to school, like kind of staying late, and having practice like 3 times a week. My parents were both working. My brother was also working, so it was like we didn't really have that much time to spend together like before all this happened. And it's like now, like it's just really nice to be able to spend more time with them, before like I have to go to college, like like later on in January or so. But it's just been really nice, to be able to build up our bond with my mom and my whole family basically.
Let me ask you a kind of a tough question. You guys being young, and you're looking at television and you get all this information, what kind of leadership you think us adults have been giving in terms of this virus? And we're going to be talking about some other stuff in terms of the protest rally, but have the leadership of the schools and the city and the health department, have they given you the type of information and leadership, even with the governor and stuff, that you think that you ought to get that have helped you through this crisis at all? In terms of COVID-19 virus? Cassandra, what do you think? What type of leadership have we been giving you guys?
I think, me personally, I think the leadership has been good so far. Like, I totally like understand how like this pandemic is like unpredictable and like how we get like information kind of last minute, but I understand why. I think what can be done better is just like hearing out your students and like their needs, because I know like online learning isn't great for everyone, and like some students may not have like the tools needed to do online learning. So I think like the district like giving out like Chromebooks and iPads to students in need was a good idea. And then like also like giving out like free lunches, having those free lunch programs, because I was one of those students who benefited from those programs. Like continuing that would have been great too.
Okay. Keyshawn, what kind of leadership, and then Naomi after that, and then Ayana, what kind of leadership? Have you look at television and you look at the newspapers and you look at adults, are we giving you guys the kind of leadership, Keyshawn, that you think you need from us?
Yes and no. Some, everyone has their opinions on, everything. And then I look at my school Twitter, and I'm very active on there. And some people have their opinions, and then I have this thing where my grandma used to tell me, think before you speak. So some people are just saying things, and I don't think they're really thinking about what they're saying until later. And now everyone's arguing with them or bashing them because of what they said. So I think we all need to be a little more educated on what's going on, because everyone has their sides of the story and what we're seeing and what we're being told and the conspiracies. So I think we all just need to get on one big understanding. But as far as everything that I've been told or that I see from my school or from the city that they're giving to us, it's pretty accurate, and I have a great understanding.
Ayana, what about you?
I totally agree with Cassandra and Keyshawn, like with everything that they said. Like the district, the teachers, with them also, not knowing how to deal with all this, because this is new to everyone. I feel like they've done like a really good job of, them, being able to still kind of help out the students, with the Chromebooks, like Cassandra said, the meal plans, like seeing them still trying to be involved with the students, still trying to, help everyone out as much as they could. That I feel like that is just, it's awesome. Like being able to see them, still try to help everyone.
Naomi, what do you think in terms of the leadership that the city and the government is doing and corporate America? Do you think that we're guiding you guys in the right direction with regard to this COVID-19 virus?
Yeah, I feel that, like Ayana said and Cassandra said, everything is really unpredictable right now. But with my school, with how quickly and the district responded to our health concerns, I think that right now, it was good that our government and the health officials took immediate action to protect us from the virus. We didn't know how fast it was going to affect people. So yeah, I feel like they were doing a good job.
Good. Okay, we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to talk about the protest rallies that have been going on and some of the violence that has been going on in the clash with the police and some of the things that have been happening in Long Beach. But right now we're going to take a break. And I want the viewers to look at this public service announcement that I think you'll be very, very interested in. It'll be some really good information that you will take with you. So we'll be right back after this message.
Take young students, mentor them away from the field, help teach them life skills, and to use their athletic success and their athletic upbringing to help give them the necessary life skills to achieve in high school, college, and beyond. Using the power of athletics, the power of football, to help our entire community.
Athletics is a vehicle for you to attain lively employment at a later date. The whole concept in my mind revolves around learning the playbook of life, because sports really teaches you life skills.
To get kids early through Math Madness, through camps, through leadership talks. Those are the ways that you really empower youth to make a difference. And we're thrilled as an organization to uphold the ideals of BOSS and continue to work with Everett and his team to make sure that every child has a chance at success through athletics. And that's exactly what BOSS does.
So I'm a huge fan and supporter of the work, both in terms of presence and finances, and will continue to do so. I know that changed lives are the outcome that's desired, and through education, exposure, and mentorship, that work is happening. Educating and empowering athletes to leverage athletics so they can improve their own lives, the lives of their families, and the lives of those in the communities in which they live. And that's why I support the work of BOSS and will continue to do so. Because when you change minds, you change choices. And when you change choices, you change lives. And that's the work that BOSS is doing so very well.
Welcome back to Conversations with Erroll Parker. We're speaking with some really fine young people who represent their high school campus here in Long Beach, Associated Student Body Presidents of 4 high schools here in Long Beach. We have Cassandra Keeve, and she is from Poly High School. We have Kishan Ford, he is from Jordan High School. We have Ayana Torres, and she's from Cabrillo High School. And we have Naomi Ortiz, who is from Lakewood High School. Now we're going to turn our attention away from the COVID-19 virus and into what is happening currently as well, which is almost upstaged the COVID-19 virus, because now we have these worldwide and national rallies about police brutality and racism and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot been going on. I know you have looked at the television, guys, and seen that. Keyshawn, we're going to start with you as an African-American young man in a world that you're going to inherit. What is your feelings about the protest rallies and the police brutality and the young man that was murdered? What is your feelings about that?
I'm very religious, so I believe that wasn't okay. I believe everybody is equal. For me, it's a little scary for me. Because I live in a nice neighborhood where I can walk. I have lots of restaurants and things near me, so I like to walk. I walk with my grandma, and we walk our dog. And the other day I was walking, and a police officer went by, and usually they go by, and I don't worry about anything. But as I was walking by, I noticed him looking at me, and I didn't want to stop in my tracks and be suspicious because I have nothing, I'm not doing anything, but I wanted to stop and go back home because I feared for my safety, being out. I have 2 younger brothers, a younger sister, and parents, I fear for them anytime they leave the house. So it's not, anything that I take, I take this very seriously. I think it's really important that people should be able to feel safe outside of their homes. I haven't left out of my house by myself since then. All of the protests, I think they're great, but the people that come and ruin it for everyone else, I don't think that's okay. They're sending the wrong message. So if we're out protesting and they're out destroying things and stealing, they're not looking at us as 2 groups. They're looking at us as a whole because we're all out there together. It's either us or, the police. And if we're not with them, then they see us as one group. And if they're destroying things, they're put in the same category as us from what I see on the news.
Okay.
So there's a positive to it, but I feel there's also a negative as far as that goes.
Okay, very good. Ayana, I see you shaking your head. For you, when you look at the protest rallies that are going on television and you read about it, what is your feelings about all these things that are going on?
So with everything that's going on, it's really nice to see, that people are protesting for something that, that has been going on for a long time. Racism, it hasn't gone away, and people can say, maybe it has, but it never has. And being able to see people, of all races, different skin colors, it's amazing to see just, everyone come together for something that truly matters. What happened to George Floyd, it wasn't that was just, it was horrific, and it was something that should never have happened. And these people, they're standing up for, what is right. They're trying to get their voices out. And it's what Keyshawn was saying, these looters, they're these peaceful protesters. They're going there, they're looking out for each other. And there's people that will probably come from, a different city and just start ruining stores, just stealing things. And it's it's taken away from the powerful message that people are trying to convey, that, you know, yes, all lives do matter, but right now, you know, we need to make sure that Black lives do matter, that people need to see that Black lives matter, you know, and it's just, you know, it's hard to see that, you know, they're kind of taken away from the protesters, you know, hard work. And the mayors, you know, the chiefs, you know, being able to see them like in certain places, you know, take a knee with the protesters, you know, join them, you know, that is so, you know, it's touching, because it's people who have, you know, power, and they can see from everyone's perspective that, you know, what happened was not okay. And, you know, seeing them, you know, just be a part of everyone, you know, it's really nice.
Very well put. Naomi, you hear your fellow students talking about this. What are your feelings about all the rallies and the protests that have been going on?
I totally agree with them and their thoughts. And I feel that the rallies that are going on right now, they're an important step towards equality for all. I feel that my generation, the young people, were the generation for change. And I feel that, you know, be the change that you want to see in the world. There's so many petitions going on right now that you can get involved with. And I just, you know, register to vote, get your voice out there. I feel that right now it's important to speak out on the inequalities in our society. And, you know, that's the only way that change is going to happen. So.
Very good. You know, you guys are articulating yourself very well. Cassandra, I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. You're hearing Keyshawn and Naomi and Ayana talk about that. This is very trying times that you're living in. What do you think about all these rallies and things that are going on?
Oh, I totally agree with Ayana. First of all, like I believe like racism and like police brutality has always been a problem, and that George Floyd's death was just the tip of the iceberg, just setting off this movement. And just like I think it's just so like eye-opening how like just a couple weeks ago here in Southern California, Huntington Beach in Orange County, people were protesting to get haircuts, to like go out to the beach and so on, and how like the police at their protests weren't geared up. They didn't have their guns, they weren't shooting rubber bullets and so on. But here in Long Beach and here in other parts of like the world or America, like in LA and so on, like we're protesting for people's lives, and yet the police are just like throwing tear gas at us and so on. And just like I think that itself is a representation of like inequality in America, and how like, and also like think like the protests and like the rallies are important. They're set forward to show like the people in power how like lives are important, and it's like it's a time for change. Like this can't keep going on. And then for here, especially, I'm so proud of like all the protesters who did a peaceful, meaningful march through Ocean Boulevard. Whether or not the news or like broadcast stations like want to show that, like Long Beach did have a peaceful protest. There was just like protesters, a whole bunch of them marching through Ocean Boulevard, and I felt like it was very disheartening to see people outside of Long Beach looting local businesses such as like especially like stores in Cambodia and so on. And like even after like all of that, I'm very like proud of my city and my community for coming together the morning afterwards to like clean up the mess, like in downtown Long Beach and in Cambodia town as well.
Okay, you know, Ayana will put you on the spot here. If you had to change, let's say you had a meeting with the police chief of Long Beach, you had a private meeting with all this stuff going on, and I'm gonna ask you guys different questions. What would you talk to the police chief in Long Beach about? What would you, in terms of a solution, what do you think should be done if you had a private meeting with Chief Luna? What would you tell him? What would you talk with him about?
I would talk to him like, you know, I'd want to see, you know, his views on what happened with George Floyd, you know, if he thinks if, you know, that was okay. And, you know, if he does, you know, if he doesn't, like, I'd want him to want change, you know, within, you know, our community, and you know, try to like have the police, you know, try not to racial profile, you know, people, you know, everyone grows up from, you know, a different background, but that doesn't mean, you know, a certain race, you know, that it doesn't mean that they're all bad, you know, like the police, they have to understand that, you know, we're human, and, you know, yes, we do make mistakes, but no one is just this horrible person, and you don't have to treat them bad.
Okay, very good. Cassandra, when you saw the police put his knee in this man's neck and he died from it, what was your feelings about that after all that came out? How did you feel?
Honestly, like my heart like broke. Like I feel like there's a lot of different ways to like approach a problem, and like I think putting your knee down like on someone's neck isn't a solution. Like I feel like there's like other ways you could have handled it, and George Floyd's death could have been prevented if the police officer hasn't like didn't do that, and so on. And I feel like going off of like Ayana's response, like we should talk to like police departments and like police chiefs about like how their team should like approach these situations. Like you don't put someone's life on the line to like catch someone, you know.
Okay, Keyshawn, if you had a private meeting with the mayor of this city and he called you in to ask for some solutions, what would you discuss and what would you recommend to the mayor of the city in terms of going forward as far as race relations are concerned?
For one, I would talk to him and see where his head is about all of this, and you know, see what we can do to get more information out to other people who, you know, may not understand what's going on. But I would also want to be able to get the police officers all to get a training on what to do, because they're here to protect and serve, not protect and kill, you know, or harm anyone. So I think they all need a different training on how to respond to things, because you know, 6 officers and 1 person, or 8 officers and 2 people is ridiculous to me, you know. And then, you know, even if that is the case, you know, having guns out when you're already outnumbered by this person, I think it's ridiculous. So I think I would have them see if we can get a different training on how to respond to these things.
Okay, very good. Naomi, let's talk about the businesses that are being affected by not only the COVID-19, but also that have to be shut down because of the violence that occurred. Is violence necessary? People are affected by it. What is your feelings about race relations and violence in the country?
I just feel like right now, you know, these uncomfortable conversations are things that have to happen to bring the inequalities into light. And, you know, it's hard for the businesses. I drive around my city and I see, you know, them boarding up, and it's just surreal to see that, because this is the first time that something like this to this extreme is happening in my life. So it's surreal to see that. And it's sad, like Keyshawn said earlier, to see, you know, the people, it's supposed to be the people against, like, you know, when you're protesting against the police. And it's sad to see them group together, the peaceful protesters with the looters, because that's not what it is. And so I feel like right now, you know, it's hard the news doesn't show. In Bellflower and in Long Beach, we had peaceful protests, but the news only shows the violent protests, you know, the looting and stuff. So I just feel like we need to have these uncomfortable conversations so that change can happen, and that, you know, as a whole, we all see the inequalities.
Well, let's wrap up a little bit here. You guys have really poured out your feelings about being young in Long Beach and in this country, and the race relations and the COVID-19 violence. I've never had to face these kinds of things that you guys are facing. And you've articulated yourself really well. But right now, as we close this program, I want each and every one of you to make a statement to either your friends or to the leadership or to someone in terms of what do you think should happen now going forward with regard not only to the COVID-19 virus, but the police brutality and the race relations in this country. So you guys have this platform. I'm going to start you with Keyshawn in terms of what do you think should happen? And then we'll go to Cassandra, and you guys don't have to wait for me, and then Ayana, and then Naomi. A closing statement to the city of Long Beach. Start with Keyshawn.
we need a change. I think we should all get out and vote. I'm registered to vote, and I know it's a little scary because you might not know what you're voting on or what these laws and bills are, but you can ask questions. Please do ask questions and get help if you don't understand, but your voice matters. Everyone's life is equal. We're all equal no matter what we're going through. So um, yeah, make sure you vote and you know what's going on around you.
Very good, Keyshawn. Cassandra.
My message is to the city of Long Beach, to the people in power, listen to your people. We are protesting and having rallies for a reason. We want a change. And it's up to you guys who have the power and the privilege to make the change in writing. Like, please listen to us. And to like everyone, please have these like uncomfortable conversation about social awareness, about racial issues. These are important and they can help us like understand better about like what we can do to solve this problem.
Very well said. Ayana.
I would say, try to educate yourself more, on the things going on, like what Keyshawn said, make sure you're registered to vote, also educate yourself on those things. It is, we do need change in the world, and, we have to keep, fighting for the change, and, keep putting our voices out there. So I would say, keep, being strong and keep trying to, make a change.
Naomi, you'll have the last word, Naomi. What's the message you want to tell the city of Long Beach?
I totally agree with Cassandra. The city of Long Beach, we need to listen to our people because, we're getting our voice out there. The protests are happening. And for us, the people, we need to make sure we're registering to vote and speaking out on things so that, change will happen eventually.
Well, you know what? As an old man, I feel very, very comfortable that you guys who are going to be stepping into leadership positions in a few years, that you have the right attitude about what's going on. This is your world that you're going to inherit. We've kind of messed it up for you. But I feel very firm, Keyshawn, Cassandra, Ayana, and Naomi, that you guys are going to do the right thing. You're going to go on to college. You're going to get a great education. You're going to listen to one another. You're going to want to know what others are thinking that are not necessarily like you. But you guys have articulated yourself really well. And thank you so much for being on Conversations with Erroll Parker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now, this has been a very intense and great conversation for our viewers. I thank you for tuning in. I think speaking for the adult population that'll be on our way later on, that we're going to be left in really good hands with people like Keyshawn and Naomi and Ayana and Cassandra. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, again. And next week, you'll see a more exciting guest on Conversations with Erroll Parker. Good night.
In a democracy, citizens need to be informed about policies, issues, homelessness, law enforcement, and social services. In order for people to make good decisions that affect their lives, they need to be informed.